Evening, what it do? How are you? Who? Happy Wednesday too. I am the sound of money in your ear, Dollar Avant. That's DOLL. I'm often imitated, never duplicated. They call me the Billion Dollar Bay, aka the Bitch Queen, aka the People's Coach, aka Coach Dollar Bill. You are in the dollhouse. This is the home of the OGs. We are going to get off the financial grid because we need to do something. Um, so welcome. Let me see what day it is. It is day 84 of the 100-day challenge. I appreciate you guys being here every day, taking the time to do the work so we could be all right. Let me see. Somebody sent me a question right before we got online, and I was waiting to see if I would get a video so I could go over it with you guys. Because there are some changes happening in the global economy. And somebody asked me, well, the US economy specifically. And somebody asked me a question. And then I'm like, okay, sure, I'll talk about it at 2, send me the video. And then they didn't send me the video. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that, but maybe they'll jump on and find the video. If you have any specific questions that you want me to address, go ahead and ask them now. Let's just do that first and get it out the way before we get our day going here. If you have questions, I'm giving you the floor first today. I'm switching it around. Okay, you just got here. I said, if you have questions, I'm giving you the floor first. So what are we working on? Are we still posting every day? What's happening?
Well, I'd like to add, because I'm excited about it, I have my stand store set up.
Oh, beautiful.
I have my email in motion in terms of my free item. And my free item says 5 signs you've lost yourself in your roles and how to reclaim you. And so they click on that, but they have to put their email in first. And so everything is up and running.
Brilliant.
I'm on the stand, the 14-day trial.
Absolutely.
And we're advertising as I do my morning show. Not necessarily advertising, but I'm sharing how to go ahead and get everything digital, including the books, the coaching sessions. So everything is up and running.
So good. You got your books in digital format in your stand store as well?
Yes, my books, my workshop, my how to join the Zest for Life, how to sign up for one-on-one, and the book to discovery call. Everything is in motion.
I love it. This is what I'm talking about. It's a whole engine. It's a machine, you know?
Yes, so that's what I have, and I am committed to the morning show, which is another part of how they can receive a little bit of the zestful living with what I'm offering.
Beautiful. Are you back to doing it every day, or is it certain days of the week?
Monday through Friday.
Amazing. That's a great update, LaTanja.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Hey, Tracy.
That was amazing, LaTanja. That is an inspiration. Yeah, that's an inspiration. That's a lot. That's not no small task, what you just said. I'm excited. I'm about to go outside to speak to humans now. But just like most days, I wanted to get my live in before your live came on, so that I could make sure I got it done. And I had an inspired topic, which was don't let distractions dictate your reaction.
Oh God!
So it was talk about men in your life that throw you off your course, and I was just, that's what it was. Don't let distractions dictate your reaction. So I was having a little fun with that. And I'm now about to go speak to humans. I called someone today that I'm not yet up to date with my CRMs or even really started it, but I wrote on one of the cards that I got, call on the 25th. And I did. And I felt good about that. I'm like, okay, I called somebody. Beautiful. And then I called somebody back. And then also yesterday, what was I going to say yesterday? I forgot what I was going to say. But anyways, yesterday I started using Claude for the first time. I know I'm super late, but I started using Claude for the first time. And I'm letting go of the book that I lost and work really hard with Chat GPT. And now I'm working on a new book because I have a lot of books that I want to write. Now I'm working on the new one with Claude, and I feel super happy. And I love the way it asks certain questions, and yeah, it's different. It's different. So yeah, it's definitely the bougie that I like. It's different than what Chatty would have done, and I'm excited to let that thing go over there, knowing that it cannot be retrieved, and start on what is happening right now. So that feels super good.
Excellent. Well, Bougie GPT is the one for me. You know what I'm saying? That's just my personal preference. Okay. I love these updates. I love the energy. I love what we're working on. We're in motion. That's what I'm talking about. Well, somebody had a specific question they wanted me to answer, but they can't find the video that they wanted me to respond to. So we're going to go on without that. What I want to talk about today. First of all, yesterday was, listen, I put you on game. I don't know. Latanja says she's moving in that direction. I don't know what people are doing, but I do know that if you lean in with some of the things we talked about yesterday, it's going to work. So basically, what you need is a stage, a store, and like a society, which is community. That's what you need. Because most people play the game of entrepreneurship like it's a finite game. Like there's a winner and a loser, like a start and an end point. And they hustle, you make some money, and then okay, I made some money. And then the next time you need some money, it's like, okay, I need to go find some money. What do I do? And okay. And then something happens, you make some money. Okay. And you stop. And then you do it again. And that's not the right lens. Because capitalism is an artificial system. We know that it wasn't built for us, it was built on us, but it's based on nature. People used to say I was just saying that, but money called currency, like energy, like that's why I call it cash flow, like rivers flow through banks, like liquidity, like they can freeze your bank account, like if you're in debt, they say you're underwater, all these things. A factory is called a plant, like okay. So the artificial system that was built on nature is designed to keep running forever. Now it is cannibalistic, so that's why it's dying. Late stage capitalism is what it's called, but because it makes money for the owners at the expense of people and the planet, and that's not sustainable. But theoretically, 500 years or whatever, it's been running. So that game is going to keep going. The thing that we think of as business or entrepreneurship, it was happening long before any of us ever got here, and it'll keep going, until this whole system collapses after us. So that's what you call an infinite game. There are no winners and losers. The point is to keep the game going. There are winners and losers, but it's more like the system is going to keep going, and then the only way to end the game is you drop out, like you close your business, or you sell the company, or you merge, or get whatever. But the game of capitalism, entrepreneurship, keeps going. It's infinite. So when you say to me, I want to build generational wealth, I say to you, okay, that means you have to have a system that's going to be infinite. It's going to continue to do the thing that turns this abstract energy idea into something that could be exchanged in the marketplace that we know as capitalism. Right? So that's why I keep talking about engines. That's why they call it a startup. You have to have an economic engine. You're not just running and jumping and trying to get some money and twos and fews here and there. Okay. This is revolutionary when I talk like this. Nobody talks like this. Okay, cool. So how do you build the engine? Well, the three components, the three levels of the video game, I keep saying the same thing in different words, but it's levels to it, if you will. So in the unseen realm, you have to have your, how do you say, your nervous system, or your singleness of mind. Like you can't be all over the place. Oh, I have all these ideas I want to do. Okay, I need you to focus on one thing. What are we doing? What are we building right now? Single-minded. It can't be, I wake up today, I'm excited. Then by the night, I'm all out of whack because I don't know if I can do it. We gotta settle all those internal issues. So single-mindedness. Then you have to have some sense of structure around how you use your time, because time is money. When you don't have any money, it doesn't matter because you have time. So you're trading, you're exchanging time, energy, effort, focus, and attention. You're putting it into a system, and on the other side, you're wanting to get what we consider money or something of value that can be exchanged with other humans. So you have to have structure to do that. So like a seed, whatever is in a seed that makes a seed do what it does, what an atom, you know what I'm saying, a cell, whatever the smallest, uh, component that something can be created from, there's structure there. So you have to have structure. So I spend a lot of time kind of reprogramming our brain. You can't just be floating around and, oh, I'm an artist, and no. Are you making money, or what are we doing? Oh, I'm moving by spirit. Hold on. Where's the structure though? So because that's the only way to birth something into the 3D realm, it has to have some structure. Like even a seed, tree, you put it in the ground and the roots can grow all over. Every tree is going to be different, right? So it's not like everything you do is going to be unique to you. However, there's still structure. There's still three parts of that seed, and it still has to do the things. The roots have to find the water. It still needs the sun. Like there's structure to this. It's not just I was planted here yesterday and now I'm over here tomorrow, and then I'm just not gonna get no sun for 4 weeks and I'm gonna come back. Like no, you have to have structure. And then third, on this level, the unseen, is a sense of safety. So that's where we talked a lot about regulating our nervous system and not just feeling all over the place all the time, because it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. So regulating your nervous system and not allowing your emotions to just take you all the way, swerve you all the way off the roadmap, if you will. Every time something happens, or you get some news, or something you weren't expecting, or somebody promised you something, they didn't do it, or you said you thought you were going to be over here, but really over there, like, and now you're just all off the bandwagon. You have to have a sense of safety in your nervous system. And in that place, singleness of mind, structure. I'm doing what I'm going to do because that's what I said I'm going to do with my time. In a regulated nervous system, a state of safety, your intuition can flow. You can tap in and stay tapped in, which is important. Okay. Now, the middle layer, which is what we talked about yesterday, which I'll come back to. The third layer, which is what everybody can see, what everybody wants you to write a business plan for. What I say, you have this if you got to level 5, step 5 on the roadmap. You have sales, systems, and staff. So like regular sales coming in, where we know how much money we're going to make next week, next month, next quarter. You could do some projections and they wouldn't be totally made up numbers. Okay. You got systems. How do you get a customer? Where do your customers come from? What are your numbers? If you put this much, this many people hit your page, what's going to happen all the way through? So you have systems to support all of that. And then staff. The old school version of business is you would then hire people and train them to run those same systems to keep getting and expanding and scaling those sales. So sales, system, staff, that's what a CEO does. They oversee sales, systems, and staff. In this modern post 2025 era, most of your staff can be replaced with AI. Things that you would pay people hundreds of thousands of dollars to do, you pay $20 a month and put some AI skills and build some AI agents, and just boom, that's your staff. Okay. But same concept. So that's the layer that everybody can see, everybody can point to and think of as a business. So nobody ever deals with the unseen part that I just described to you, which is entrepreneurship is a spiritual act. All of this is coming from the unseen. Where did your idea come from? Where did your wisdom come from? Where did your talent come from? You can't touch it. It's there. So you have to deal with that part. So we work on that a lot. You have to shift your identity to be the version of yourself who has the capacity to do the rest of this. And then this middle layer is what we actually talked about yesterday. And I made it as simple as I could because we talked about having the YouTube, you do the video, very specifically talking about the problem that somebody's, got in their head that they might be thinking about or searching for. You have a whole body of work that's speaking to that. And then that's how you build an audience and demonstrate your expertise and have an archive where they can go and listen to your work and stuff like that. You have all of that. Then that's your stage, right? Because think, I'm on a stage as an artist. If I was a recording artist, that means what? I have an audience. People are going to come and listen to me sing, but I can't just be like, oh, I can sing. I have to have some expertise. Not I hum in my shower. Like, no, I can actually stand on the stage and deliver vocally for 2 hours or whatever at a high level. So expertise has to be there, but also a body of work. I'm not just going to get up there and holler and just do what I want to do for 2 hours. That's not enjoyable. I have to have a body of work, structure, like songs that are already pre-prepared, that are, put together in a way that tells a story. It takes the audience on a journey. So I'm creating a whole experience on the stage. And that's what I'm saying is on your YouTube and Instagram, LinkedIn, and wherever you're showing up. We talked about this yesterday. So that's your stage. Second, you need a store. Just like they say, a store of value. A store is a place where somebody could go and say, okay, I want that one. And they can go pick it up, give you some money, and take that one. Right? So a place of exchange. So what Latanja just said, she set up her store. So she's had books and journals and a lot of different opportunities for people to work with her, but they couldn't get to it. But now it's all digitized. It's on a store. So if they meet her, they see her videos or her content, or they're watching her show, that's her stage. Now she has a store where they can just click a button, give her some money or their email, and immediately they get delivered this value. Okay, so you need a stage, you need a store, and lastly, you need society. Okay, a world that you're building, a community, a place where people can continue to engage and have this shared experience. I can't overemphasize this enough because what is name your favorite celebrity? I'm not naming nobody because everybody's canceled, but they have the expertise in the body of work. They have, you can find them everywhere. You just go to Tower Records, or if you go on, Apple or Spotify or wherever you purchase music, they're there. They have a store. If you want to buy concert tickets, then you go to the place where you buy tickets, Ticketmaster, they're there. So in other words, I'm just telling y'all, it's not enough to have inventory in your garage, okay? It has to be where somebody can buy it. So a store. But then your favorite artist also has a fan base, like a whole community of people who are just vibing off of the fact that they all have this shared identity around how they feel about this person. Community is a group of people that have a shared emotional experience. Okay, when we talk about Black people or my people, we just be saying all these code words because we have a shared emotional experience. It becomes a part of our identity. So if you graduate to the third level of entrepreneurship, you'll have a stage where you're constantly bringing new people into your thought leadership. That's not optional. And you're controlling the narrative around your work. You have a store where people can easily go and click, click, click and buy, buy, buy. And some of that needs to be digital, not just where you have to physically do something to get some money. Okay. And then you will also have this society community, this place where your identity has also shifted. Their identity has shifted and so has yours. So shared community, like the dollhouse, right? We all are here to learn this thing. We all are thinking and talking about entrepreneurship differently than they do in other groups. And we're getting to know each other inside the group and little, all these many relationships are forming. And I've had people, like some folks sent me the testimonials when I asked for that a month or so ago, and they introduced themselves and they said, "Yep, I'm an OG and I'm in the dollhouse," and da 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 da. Or when we see each other out at an event, we'll get on the camera and that's the first thing they'll say. And I'm like, yes, we outside, And so that's cool. So we identify as a part of what we're all doing collectively, but also the person in charge of the community becomes known for this work. So you can't skip the part about building community and a social network around what you do, if that makes sense. So that narrative now starts to live outside of you. This is when it becomes many to many. So people who you don't know, you're at home, but people are in another room having a conversation about you and your work and inviting somebody else that you don't know to come in to the community. Right. And then all of that feeds back into the free engine that you started in the first place. So now more people are in the audience watching you on the stage as you're talking. Thought leadership, TED Talk, podcast, books, whatever you public speaking, whatever you're doing. Stage, store, you got some free stuff and some things they can click to pay. Society, community, where identities are shifting and narratives live outside of you. You need those 3 S's. So notice they all start with this. At the top layer, the invisible layer, the place where ideas live, you have your single-mindedness, which was a big problem for a lot of us when we started this journey. Single-mindedness. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm building. This is what I'm about. I'm not up today and down tomorrow. I'm not starting this idea today and I'm doing another one tomorrow. I got one pitch today. Next week I'm gonna change the pitch. Like singleness of mind. I'm gonna build this thing, do what I'm doing until I get to the end. Okay. We have structure, a commitment to using our time in an intentional way, because we understand that time, energy, effort, focus, attention, that is my input into the energetic field. I could pull down from ether whatever I need if I create structure. That's my channel. That's how things are going to come down to the 3D. So without structure, you're just in the clouds. And then you got safety, your nervous system. You're regulating your nervous system, your emotions, and doing the things you need to be doing every day, throughout your day, getting toxic people out of your environment. By the way, I want to say this to whomever. If you're finding, because it's still the new year, it's like the first week of the new year, happy new year. If you're going through a season and you're going through it and people are maybe you're like, well, that person was in my life for a season, they're not here anymore, whatever. Listen, celebration time. Okay. It might feel like, oh, I thought they would be around forever. Maybe not. Okay. Maybe they weren't that for you. Some people are in your life for a reason. Some people are there for a season. And very few are there for a lifetime. Okay. And so we got to be okay with that. We got to kind of see that as, how do we say? Stepping into freedom, resetting your DNA, giving yourself permission to be the version of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, all skin folk and kinfolk, everybody related to you is not going to be down this road with you. You can't tell your business to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, we got to rise. And so that we don't have toxic people around us that are constantly doing something crazy. It's like jarring your nervous system. You have to be in a nervous system state of safety. Okay. Middle layer, which we just went over yesterday. Got your stage. That's how are you reaching new people with your message and doing it so intentionally. Hopefully I'll get to that today. There, you should have like a format that people are used to you showing up. It starts like this, we go like this, we do this part, and then we have an ending, and then we're out, so that they know what to expect from you. So that it becomes a part of their identity, their schedule. This is what, there has to be some consistency in that. So you get through the experiment phase, but eventually they want there to be some kind of structure around how you're showing up on your platforms, your stage, right? So you got stage, you got a store. What is it that you want people to do? A call to action in your videos, in your articles, in your posts. It's like not just go to my website and buy something, but like a specific offer, a specific go get this, or go click for this resource, or go, do this thing, or go, a very specific offer where they can get a specific value on the other side of taking the action that you tell them to take in your content. Okay. That should be set up digitally, easy to find, easy to click through, bam. And then you have this society, community, world building this place where people are having this shared experience. And we talked about using school for that. You can do it old school with the Facebook group. I have a WhatsApp group, which I really would love to not have, but I can't not have it right now. But a place where you can actually engage. People could ask you questions. They could chat with you and each other, and all of that. That's the middle layer. We went through that yesterday. If you get those things right, then you'll have what the traditional world, that's where they want to start you in business. They want you to write a business plan about this part: sales, like regular revenue that we can project accurately. What are you going to make next week, next month, next quarter, next year? You'll have systems. How do you get a customer? How do you talk to those customers? How do you onboard the customers? How do you deliver the product? Where do you get your supplies from? Who are your vendors? Like all your systems in there. Things they want you day one to put on your business model canvas in these fake entrepreneurship programs. By the time you get here, you'll know what those systems are and be able to document that. And then staff, which is old school. You would hire somebody, train them, and depending on what your industry is, you still need humans, right? Train them in the same way you would show up and do it. Now they can show up and do it because you have SOPs. People want to say that first week in business. How you gonna write an SOP? You don't know. Anyway, you have staff who can do it without you, so you can step away from the business. And in today's era, most of that work can be done by AI agents, developing AI skills and things like that, so that you can reduce your overhead and keep, maximizing your profits. And most importantly, go faster. Because hiring is a totally different skill that I have not ever tried to teach you how to do hiring in this group, except to say, if the values don't align, I don't care what the vision is, I don't care what their resume is, I don't care what access they have. Oh yeah, bro, this is what we finna do. Oh yeah, I could tell you what I could do this for your company. You know what I'm saying? I know all these people, I got you, I could da 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 da. If their values don't align, if they don't keep their word, they tell you what they're gonna do, they don't do it. Every time. You're not gonna make it. It's not gonna work. You cannot build with this person. So it goes vision, values, then strategy. So there's no need in, like, if you ever try to do business with a wealthy person and people come at me because they think I'm just normal and I just look like this walking around, they don't understand who they're talking to. So they'll meet me and then they'll be like, okay, dog, so now we need to get, no, we're not getting to the strategy. A wealthy person is going to say, I want to meet with you in person, or somebody who's just serious about their business. They will talk, okay, tell me what you're trying to do, da 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 da, okay, yeah, da da da. And they like what they hear, they're going to say, when can we meet? They want to look you in the eyeball. I'm telling you. If they could do it in person, they'll do it in person. Next time you're going to be in town or, whatever, come by the office next time, they want to look you in your eyeball and see what type of time are you on. And if I get through talking to you 20, 30 minutes and you're not a person who keeps your word, you're telling me one thing, you hype, but you're all over the place. You don't have no systems. You don't have no structure. You cheat on your wife. I'm not lying. They sit here and evaluate how you moving. Every time we have a meeting, you're 37 minutes late. Every time I ask you for something, you're brilliant, but you can't find none of your notes and your papers. It's all over the place. I talked to you 30 days ago. You were working on this. Talked to you the next week. You didn't finish that, but now you're on something else. You're not reliable. We don't have the same values. So there's no need in me going on to try to build strategy with you. I'll just keep you in the loop and dap you up when I see you. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh yeah, we're going to do business together. No, we're not. I'm not going to refer no clients to you. I'm not doing it because you're not on point. I'm going to put some weight on you and you're not going to hold the weight. You're showing me that you don't have any structure. Our values don't align. So that's not sustainable long term. Remember, we're building an infinite engine. We want sustainability. We want our business to still be running. When we go to the island, we don't want to come back and the whole thing has blown up because you put it in the hands of somebody who's not reliable. We don't have the same values. So don't skip steps on the roadmap. You can do it if you want to, but it's not going to work. So we go vision, then values. Only if we have that face-to-face and it's like, oh yeah, I see what we're doing. I see what we talk about. Yeah, we're on the same page. We talk the same. You got the same, principles you're driven by. Cool. Now we could put a strategy together. Let's put together a proposal. Let's put our ideas together, see what that looks like. See how we could start working together. Let's try this, let's try that. Okay, boom. Strategy. But guess what? Then comes experiment. We don't know if this is gonna work or not. We don't know how it's gonna look. We thought it was gonna look this way, but actually it's gonna be another way. It's an experiment. And only after you run the experiment and get feedback from the marketplace, not what you think, not based on your ego, not based on, I've been doing this for 30 years and this is how it's going to be done. Like, no. After you run successful experiments, then, only then do you embed this work. And that becomes the system. Okay. So vision, values, strategy, experiment, embed. That's how you get to a system. And that's how you know whether or not somebody should be a part of your team, a partner of yours, whatever, whatever. Okay. Now, of course, things go wrong. Things, everybody can't do everything. As long as they're communicating with you, fine. But listen, this is what I'm telling you. Do not skip any of these steps. Okay. So if you just got to hire a person or have a partner or something, if they're not checking these boxes, it's a red flag. Okay. And if you talk to them about it and nothing changes and they're not communicating, it's a problem. But ideally, you can remove a lot of that friction out of your business just by leveraging AI. Somebody said, oh, that's too much. I'm not finna learn AI. Okay, cool. You could be obsolete in 3 years if you want to. Then you're going to have to pay somebody some of your hard-earned money to go do this work and learn AI. But that's your choice. Totally up to you. But I think I was being clear. So that's S, 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 S. This is the S cycle of acceleration. If you have your road maps, you'll see it on there. That's how you get up to level 5. It's an S cycle of acceleration. It's like a flywheel. It's like the pistons in a car. You hit the button, you started the engine, the thing started going, the fuel came through, the charge went to the thing, but the pistons got to go. And that's what makes the engine go. And now the car is running. If all these things are not working together, y'all, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So we have worked very, very hard in this 100-day challenge to get you guys to where you understand each one of these components and why it's so important. And you don't just take it as me saying something that sounds nice. But these are like non-negotiables if you want your business to work, to actually generate money, to get you past 100K consistently every year, $10,000 a month, $300 a day, and then to be able to scale and grow from there to a couple 100,000 or more, whatever that goal is for you. Now, this is how you do it with no money, no contacts, no assets, no nothing, just you and an idea and a device that connects to the internet and some expertise and a worldview, something to say. Okay, so any thoughts about that before we move on? Thoughts, questions, concerns, challenges, all the things. You know what I'm saying? That was my summary.
Awesome. Could this also be a part of the process on the roadmap from the acceleration? Are we in the process at this point where we're establishing sales funnels?
Yes.
The next step.
Mm-hmm. So everything like words that you hear, marketing, social media, sales funnels, all the different terms, yes, they're encompassed in what I just described. Absolutely. So if somebody clicks on your free, your lead magnet, your free thing in your Stand store, you have their email address now.
Yes.
Then what I would want us to do is then have a regular cadence of an email that they're hearing from you once a week. And in that email, you can tell them, hey, this is what I did last week. You can say, here's what I posted on YouTube last week. If you missed it, check it out. You could say, here's my upcoming event, or here's what's going on in the community. Make sure you're involved. This is a way to stay up with your folks and keep that feeling of community flowing, if you will. So yes, it's all a part of that.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else got questions or thoughts through just what I just went over? and kind of how all these pieces fit together. Okay, beautiful. Now, one thing I did want to go over is we talked about yesterday, how do you know what to talk about on your stage? How do you know what to make your content about so that it's not generic and it's not just people kind of scroll past it and all that, but it actually speaks to people to have them engaged and then click through. And I said that one of the things you want to make sure you're doing is getting in the head of your folks and something that they're already thinking about, talking about, wondering about, questions that they already have. And then you're meeting them right at that point of a question. And that is what your content is about. Now, did anybody do the exercise that I suggested yesterday, which was think of a problem? And if not, we're going to do it in real time. So whoever wants to volunteer, think of a problem. Maybe one part, maybe the first part of your framework. Think of a problem that folks that you serve have and how you help them solve it. So when I say problem state to solution state, can somebody describe a problem that you solve for people?
I'll go.
Okay.
There are so many that I'm gathering. You just saying that one thing about how we're targeting the specific questions and how we actually deal with those and find solutions. And I think that's a perfect way of putting it because so many ideas have been flowing through my mind since yesterday. So I have it. I have all of my ideas, and I'm going to basically use the transcripts from my website office hours. I've had 2 really great ones so far, and they'll probably come back for more.
Nice.
And I'm creating a application to go with that. But what I'm doing is using those transcripts to find the specific language that they use. And there are a couple things that keep popping up as I talk to different clients and people with different issues. So being specific, one thing that I want to address, that I'm going to address, is links on your website. Sometimes there's an issue with creating a new page, and why is it still going to the old page, or why is the old page still being seen? There are questions on, I click something happened, and now this button doesn't work. And they don't know how to add a link to the form or whatever outside of that platform to link it to. That was one that came up recently. So I think that's the one that I'm going to go with for this exercise.
How to like troubleshoot links.
How to more specific, how to link a button, like something super simple that people don't, like I'm drilling down to the actual frustration and the issue. Like how do I add a link to a button? That's something I know, but that's not something that my potential client yesterday knew.
I like this.
Stuff like that. That's simple.
Okay.
I feel like everybody should know.
I love that. Okay. I love the specificity. All right. So now the exercise was, but we're not going to do 10 steps, but theoretically, the exercise was tell me how to do that. Let's say in 10 steps. For the sake of this, tell me 3 steps that it takes to do that. How do I add a link to a button?
Okay, so I drilled down to this specific question. Now you mean how I would show somebody?
Yeah, like how do you tell me 3 steps? How do I add a link to a button?
Well, I guess first you have to add the button.
Okay, add the button.
Right.
Then what?
Add the button to the page you want it to be on. Then you have to go into the settings to add the link. and then you have to check to make sure the link opens a new page versus jumping off of that page, because you want them to try and stay on your site, if that's where you're pointing them to. But either way, you want an extra tab to open so your website stays open. So that's the third step, and then just save it.
Boom. So now the exercise for us, for everybody, and you can use GPT to do that. If you say first thing to do is add a button, 9 times out of 10, your audience doesn't actually know how to add a button. Right.
And that's what I was just thinking. I mean, most of them do have websites, but yeah, some of them have inherited websites where they didn't do it.
First step, and now break that down into 3 or 5 steps.
I thought about that as I was saying it, because I was like, wait a second, not everybody knows how to do that.
That's okay. So we're going to break that down. What I'm saying is the exercise from yesterday that I want everybody to think through is when you identify a problem that you want to make content to solve, you got to take the steps and then break it down again. So there's probably 3 or 5 steps for each of those steps you just said.
Wow. Right? I didn't think of it like that. I thought I was down to the
No, I know, because we're experts. And that's why we have to do this exercise. So we'll do that, right? We'll break it down. So it's like, first thing you got to do is, I don't know, child.
Like to add a button?
Yeah. Do you know what kind of website? It depends on what kind of website. Are you doing Squarespace versus
generally, generally, most of them, you have some kind of elements section on your front end. So when you're customizing your homepage, there's a menu on the left page or left side of the page normally. And that's where you access all of your buttons, your blocks, your forms, all of that
so
stuff.
You see, my point is, as we go through this exercise, you would identify, hold on, they probably don't know, well, what kind of website do I even have? Do I have an elements button?
Right.
Or did somebody give me a WordPress and it's a whole nother thing?
Right, because it is
so different. A piece of content would be, what kind of website do you have? You know what I'm saying? Do you have a WYSIWYG whatever thing? Do you have a something where you got you know what I'm saying? Boom, that's a whole piece of content just by itself.
Just asking them that question?
How do I know what kind of website I have?
Oh.
And then
that's the question they're thinking.
And yes, and your content would be, because this is the first step of the first step of the first step of the first step.
Right, you have to figure out where you are. Okay.
Because I literally, I'm your client. I have no idea. It's like, right?
Right.
So boom. So that would be a piece of content. How do I know what kind of website I have, and and what are the differences, right? So if you have a WordPress, you got to understand some different things versus if you got a Wix or something versus whatever. That's a whole piece of content.
Right, it is.
Then an offshoot of that would be, well, I can't get into the old one, or I'm tasked with building a new one for a new organization. Well, what kind should I build? So then how do I know which one of these do I pick based on whatever my goals are and tools? So that's a whole nother piece of content.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Actually, a content series, because now if I'm on Squarespace, now there's a whole thing I need to know down the rabbit hole.
I'm thinking I can branch it off, because there's like 4 different main platforms that people use.
You see what I'm saying? So boom, we just made like 47 pieces of content.
Okay.
But we're still on step 1. We're still on step 1. Right.
Right.
And then so then it's like adding a button, like, okay, now I got to make some design choices, sort of. So how do I think about that?
Right.
So there's some basic things that
Where's
you can
the button gonna go?
Break down.
Where you want people to see
colors, it should be brighter versus not, and why. There's some design stuff to that, right?
Right. So there's because you don't want to just plop it in there. You want to make some space around the button so it doesn't look all smushed.
You know what I'm saying? So there's some content around that. How to think about basic design elements when you're doing basic website updates and and then planning, which link should it go to, and why and how. Like, what is the thought process behind mapping? Where my links are going, and the strategy behind that. There's a whole set of content around that.
Okay.
And then, like you said, the other things to think about, making it open in a separate window. How do you link to I'm at the top of the page, but I want to make a
right.
button.
How do you link somewhere else on the
Anchor
page?
down to the, all of that.
Yeah.
Content.
Okay. All right. I like this.
And that's just one question: how to add
Right.
a button, a link to your page.
And that's crazy. Okay, I see it.
So then we want to do that for all of the, let's say, the top 25 questions that you can think of.
Ooh, okay. All right.
So just like that, you became an expert because you took the time to do that, and somebody else has all that knowledge in their head and they didn't.
Right. They can just go search it and it'll come up. Like you said, if someone's on Google, like I often do, search questions, videos are going to come up too.
Yeah. But what makes it great is because if I try to go on Google, if I'm your client and I go on Google and say, I need to add a button to my website, I'm going to get, I'm all over the place. I'm confused. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know does this apply to me? Versus I made it easy for you.
Right. And here's how to add a button.
And you're walking them through. First thing you need to know is what kind of website do we have here?
Right.
And and it's like, if you're just getting started and you don't know what kind of website, this is great for Substack. You know what kind of website you should even be building. You need to click this other article that tells you the different
down for you.
Things and which one is good for you based on You see what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. Yes.
So you go through the whole thing, and then somewhere in the middle and towards the end, of course, you're like, listen, this is a lot, but I have a whole community where we do this. I can get on live and do it with you.
Right.
Come to my office hours. You know what I'm saying? Or subscribe to this or whatever. Get the template or whatever that is. Or get on a call to see if,
Yeah, book a call with me in my stand store. I'm definitely going to do that. Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Somebody else want to do it. This is fun times. But that's what I mean by getting in the head of the client and actually building content that meets them where they are. Because when I'm
talking to them now, I think more like that, because it's like, oh, what are you saying actually? Oh, I heard that actually last week from this other client that was dealing with a different issue, but she said the same thing,
Yep.
I'd like to try.
Sure. What is the problem that you have identified that you want to use for this exercise?
People want to know how yoga can actually work to help them. How is it different from other things?
Why do they want to know that? They want to know that because what?
Because I'm talking with them about it, and they already inundated with all this other stuff that they're doing.
Doing for what? Doing for what purpose?
Doing it so that it can help with their mind, and also at the same time could be a great substitute for working out the traditional way, or in addition to, but it's not something that they it's something they can add on, or it can be a change out for what they're already doing.
Okay, so what you're telling me is the question in people's mind is, I'm looking for
is yoga worth their time?
Right, but you have to attach that to why they care. So
okay, that's true.
I'm looking for an alternative to traditional working out. I hate the gym, whatever. I don't know.
Yes, I feel tight, but I'm not really flexible. And can I really do yoga? Is yoga for me?
Okay, so we have to work on that, but let's go with that. Now, give me 3 steps. How would they answer that question? How do we know if yoga is for them?
How would they answer that question?
No, you.
How would I answer that question? Mm-hmm. So I would talk to them about it, that yoga is for everyone. It starts where you are. And then
okay. Let me pause you. What we need is specificity. Okay. So everything you're saying is very vague and high level, and it sounds cool, but it's not. It's not locking me into anything that I can anchor myself in. Okay. So I need to know the specific question that they have and why it matters, and very specific, right? So the more we drill down, the more impactful and the more engaging your content is going to be. So instead of, is yoga for me? you want to zoom in. Give me one specific scenario, one specific person that is looking to possibly start doing yoga, and they want to know if it's for them. Give me examples.
People that come into the yoga studio and want to do yoga, but worry that it interferes with their religion.
Okay. Why do they want to do yoga?
Because they want to have a peaceful, they want to have a peaceful experience doing something that's relaxing. And at the same time, they want to stretch. They feel tight.
Okay. So somebody looking for a spiritual experience and that they can express through their body, but they're concerned that it might be against their religion, like they're Christian or something.
I wouldn't even say they're looking for a spiritual experience, because that would lead into religion. I think they're looking simply for the stretch, and they're looking for a place there they can decompress.
So why are they concerned that it goes against their religion?
Because they hear that yoga is a religion. So people that come in, there are people that feel like yoga is a religion. So
got it. Yeah. So we're looking for a stretch. Tell me more about that. Why are we looking for a stretch?
Because they feel like their body is tight. They can't touch their toes.
Why is their body tight?
Achy.
Why?
Because they're sitting down a lot, or they've had some injuries.
Pick one. This is how specific I want you to be.
Okay.
So if you're suffering from an old injury, body is tight. You heard about yoga. But you're thinking, is this a religion? Can I do yoga? Is this for me? Right? Did I get it right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, boom. Now, how do you help them, walk them through to know if yoga is for them? And the answer is not yoga is for everybody. They don't know that. So what would you explain to them? Give me 3 steps. First, I would. What is that?
I would connect them to I would take off anything that felt religious or anything that felt really spiritual, and just stick to the basics of the stretch. And I would show them how a lot of the stretches have names of things that look similar to what you're doing.
You've left me far behind. You're way down the trail.
So
I'm right here.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I got an old injury. I can't touch my toes. I feel, I'm feeling 20 years older than I am. I keep hearing yoga, see the people with the mats and running around. But isn't yoga a religion? It seems weird. Like, I don't know about this yoga thing.
Okay.
What are you going to tell me? How are we going to have a conversation? Because this is content right now. A conversation that helps me go from, I don't know about this, to now I know the answer.
Well, I guess I would have to ask them why they feel it's a religion. Okay. I would tell them it's a science. It's the science of moving your body.
Okay. Number 1.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Then number 2, then what?
So number 1 is it's a science, not a religion. Right? That's the one you're picking for 1. Okay. And then I would let them know that yoga is thousands of years old. And so a lot of the stretches that you would do in PE classes, they were all yoga too. They just didn't call them that.
Okay, beautiful. And
then I would show them some certain things and address certain ailments that we're having, whether it's shoulder or knee issues, so that they can start to viscerally feel the benefits.
I like that. Cool. So boom. So now with those 3 things, I would do what I just did for Micaiah. We got to break down each one of those, right? So yoga is not a religion; it's a science. What you mean? They chant and do stuff, and they be breathing and monks, and you know what I'm saying? Like, people don't know. So yeah, I'm just saying this for the example.
We do.
You would need to drill down on that. Yoga is not a religion; it's a science. Prove it. Show me. Talk to me. Because we only got 8 minutes, 10-minute content at the time. So each little subsegment of taking me through the history of yoga, where it came, the science of the body and the human technology and the breathing and the oneness and all these things that I don't know nothing what you're talking about. You would have to break all that down for me in 10-minute, videos or whatever, one article at a time.
Okay.
That's a whole body of content. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. And then, some of the common misconceptions and, whatever that is. And all of that would be pieces of content. And then you would say, you've already done yoga. That's the second thing you said. You already,
That's
PE
deep.
and stuff, all this, whatever. When you did Lamaze, you had a baby, some something.
You did some humming.
You're doing something.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And
I
then
love that.
so we'll break all of that down. Yoga is more common than we think it is. There's videos on that.
I like that.
A whole bunch of videos. And then you're like, here's some basic, anybody can do this. Boom, 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 boom videos. Right? That we just made like 87 videos. But each one is so specific, right? It's not, so we got to zoom in, all the way in to boom, right here. The present moment, that's the connection. Connection is the birthplace of currency. So literally itty bitty step by itty bitty step, like tic tacs, like not the bubblegum factory, like just this little thing.
Okay.
Give me a video on that. So if you were going to tell me the whole history of yoga, what's the first thing you would say or teach?
I would say that I want to say it started in India, but I don't know if that's exactly where I want to say it. But it started in India, not California.
It probably started in Africa, child, but yes.
Probably true. I mean, yeah, there were definitely hieroglyphic doing yoga in Egypt for sure. But yeah, for sure.
So, we would go to, I like that though. It's not in California, right? Ancient roots.
Yeah.
Boom. That's a video.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in there, you would address the fact that it's more about the fact that you are human. It's not about a specific.
It started in Kemetic, not religion. In Cali.
Like that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Boom. And you break all that down and you keep going. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I'm trying to see how I would get that many videos, 87 videos from all of that.
Oh, girl. If you think you could explain the entire history of yoga to somebody who doesn't know anything about yoga in 10 minutes.
Oh, no, not at all.
So each little part of the story would be a separate video. Why do people think it's a religion? How did it evolve over time? How did it become this thing where white women are running around, whatever they be doing now? Where do we lose?
Yes.
All the disconnect between the modern world versus what yoga really is about, and the breathing and the importance of why any of this even matters. Why do we need this in modern times?
Yes.
There's separate videos for each one of those things.
Okay.
Because we're not talking for 17 hours. We're just doing like 10, 15, whatever minutes. So each one would be a very specific topic. Very, very specific. And then it's like at the end of each one, if you like more information, you want to come into a community, you want to try it for the first time, and you're inviting them to your thing, some free and some paid. Or to the mirror test, or whatever. But each one answers a little micro question. Just a little micro question. And invites them to take another step. So I could binge your whole channel and get it all. I could see one video and that could make me curious and click a link and take another step. I could be watching you week by week and keep kind of growing with you, and over the months I'm like ready to take a class. But everybody gets to choose their own adventure. You remember those books from elementary school?
Yes.
And so that's what we're building, is all those pathways where they can find their way to this community that you built for them on the other side. It's like, I didn't think yoga was for me, but it is for me. Because remember, if they're injured, but they're not using yoga to get their body together because they think religion, that's literally two separate buckets of content. People who have long-term injuries from car accident or old sports injuries or whatever, and how they could use yoga to get flexibility and get back, mobile and agile and stuff like that. There's all type of content you can make about that. People who are like afraid of yoga or just not doing it because they think Christians don't do that or whatever, You can have a whole set of content about that. You've already done yoga in your everyday life. There's a whole set of content about that. And then, the basics that everybody can learn and do that you could teach. There's a whole set of content about that. Does that make sense?
Yes, 10-minute videos or maybe even shorter.
Maybe even
I'd be
shorter.
impressed with how many great videos I've watched that are under 7 minutes. And
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I talk so long? These people said it all in like 7 minutes.
It's all right. But that's what I'm saying. The more we develop this as a skill, like we're actually showing up, being very specific, very intentional. We have a hook, a very specific topic we're talking about today. Or today's video, we're talking about this. I'm Tracy V. I do the thing, 90 people cohort. And, right now you can get the thing, click it below. Then you tell what you're going to tell for this. Let's say it's 8 minutes, this video. You give that one piece of what you're going to give, and then you go back. So like I said, if you want to do the you can click the link in the description and get the thing, blah, blah, blah. I'll see you on the next video. We're done.
Okay.
Like that. And then, so each little micro topic is what you're doing. To get to the point where you answered that, the big part we started with, 1, 2, 3, you got to zoom and give all the micro answers to each one of those to take somebody on that journey from, I have an injury. I thought about doing yoga, but I thought it was for some people's religion, and that's not my religion. Then you start over and you have a whole nother problem that we can identify. Boop, 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 boop. Break it down into 3 and then do all the micro topics on that. This is how you build this body of work that I'm talking about. So maybe I'm not injured. Like you said, the other thing that I heard you say was, what did you say?
Flexibility.
Yeah, why they can't stretch because of something you said.
Can't touch their toes.
An injury or?
Yeah, an injury. I said they want to be more flexible. They're tight. They've been sitting down too long.
Sitting down. So a sedentary lifestyle, you've been sitting down for 30 years at a desk and you're trying to get, your long career. So you got a whole new set of content you could do on people who have had these sedentary lifestyles. They've been working office jobs and now they want to get back in tune with their body.
Okay.
And then you go down that rabbit hole and make content about that. So yeah. So the more specific you can be, the more this is going to work. So that exercise, I gave it to you guys yesterday, but I wanted to bring it back up to make sure that that's what we're doing. You literally need to break down your content into those kinds of product categories or micro topics, if you will, and make very pointed articles or videos or posts or whatever that speak just to that little piece of the step that you got to take the next step, to take the next step. The example I'll give you, and I'll let y'all go early today. Example I give you is if you're like me, you like to watch like cooking videos and stuff. I used to watch, like all the people to be doing the French cooking and stuff like that. And they'll tell you to do something that you have no idea what they said. Because it's some technique that you wouldn't know just being like a regular home chef. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll say, give it a water bath, or like, I can't think of a good example, but like they be doing little things that I don't know what that is. You know what I'm saying? Like make a certain type of sauce. They'll say, make a bechamel or something like that. I don't know what that is. But they done gone on to the next part of the recipe. Do you know what I'm saying? So I want you to think about it from the lens of your audience. And each thing that you say they got to do next is a whole set of videos or articles, because you have to break down. If I say, okay, first, and I'll end with this, you need your promise. Then I'm going to write this down myself. I'm just coming to me right now. You need a promise. You need the problem, which we just broke down how to get there. We need, and I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow, how to be very scientific about knowing which problems that we're speaking to in our content. Then you need like a premise or a preface. I don't know which word I like better. Then you need a process. And then you need proposal. Let's call it proposal. Okay, so promise. What is that? That's your 5-star pitch. That's your worldview, how we talk about your work. Like we work really hard on that. So you should be able to talk about it in a way that's elevated, that has emotional connection. Like I understand why this matters. We always start with why. Okay. Then you need a specific problem. I'm talking about this conveyor belt that's going to bring people constantly into your audience, to your stage, right? You need a stage, a store, and a society, a world that you're building. Okay. So first you start with the promise. 5-star pitch. This is why I do this work. I help people go from this to this. This is what I do. This is what I believe. Da da da. Okay. Then the problem. What's the specific language? The specific people whose specific problem you uniquely position and have proximity to that you can solve. All right. So this is about people and proximity and thought leadership and all the things that I'd be saying. The Afro method, basically. Afro method. Then you have the premise or the preface. So when you start a specific piece of content, just like if you start a song, you have an intro and then you have a verse before you get to the hook. Like you got to build into that, right? So you have like a premise or a preface. That would be your introduction. Something that's commonly shared between you and your audience. Something that they're like, yep, I know what's going on here. So have you ever been injured? You know, you had a long-term injury, you know, for years, you felt like you can't touch toes, you did because of a long-term, you know, old school injury. They said you wouldn't walk again, you walk in, but child, you can't hardly touch toes. Okay, premise or preface, like getting into their world, something that they can relate to. So that's your hook and your intro. Then process. Today I'm going to teach you how to, whatever you're going to teach them. 3 simple stretches you can do at your house that'll have you 30% more flexible in 30 days, whatever. So you're going to teach them that, like your 1, 2, 3, that's your framework or your takeaway, your lesson, okay, for that episode. Then when you finish, it's like, I do this all the time. And you know, I help a community of people to do this. You can join us for free, get a free class. All you gotta do is click the link in my description. Da, da, da. So it's a proposal. I propose that you take this next step with me. Okay. So call to action. Now, the reason why I'm going through this is not for you to remember it, although that is cool what I just made up. But the promise, I said, that's your 5-star pitch. The problem, how do I know the problem? You're using the Afro method. The premise, that's the hook, the way I taught you how to do a hook. The process, that's your 1, 2, 3, your framework that I always talk about. And your proposal, that's your call to action, which I've also talked about at length. You got to have an offer ladder, you know, so they have somewhere to go, something free, something entry level, et cetera, et cetera. But if you don't know what any of that means, if you don't know what a 5-star pitch is, the Afro method, the hook, the way that I taught the hook methodology, you don't have a framework, you don't have an offer ladder, none of that means anything to you, right? So if I'm saying the problem is that entrepreneurs know they need to be on social media, but they don't know how to make content that's like going to actually make people lean in and take an action, take a step, and click a link after they read the content. Well, I'm saying the way to do that, I broke it into 5 steps: the promise, the problem, the premise, the process, the proposal. Each one of those, I have a specific way of doing, right? But if they don't know what that is, so for each one, for the 5-star pitch, I got to have a whole set of content around that. We start with why. Why do we start with why? Now I got to give you the neuroscience. I got to prove it to you. I got to get the case studies. I got to show you all the examples all over the internet of people starting with why. Whole set of content. All right. Then we do the ISDR, the founder story. Why we got to be storytellers? Why we got to do all that? Because the mirror neurons and all the reasons why this is a thing. There's a whole set of content. And so forth and so on. I got to teach the inverted, the elevator 5-star pitch. What is an elevator pitch and how do you really think about that? And how do you use it? And how do you know which 5-star pitch to use and when, which event? Content, which all of you guys have heard me teach many, many times, but it's not on the internet, right? So then I got to do the same thing for the Afro method. And the same thing for how to do a hook. The same thing for How do you create a framework around what you do? That becomes a part of your IP. And then the same thing for your offer ladder, your call to action. Does that make sense? So that's like over 100 pieces of content if I were to break it down to each micro step. And so this is the task. You are taking all this brilliance out of your head and literally digitizing it. And you want to be this tedious. Do you want people to follow you and take an action with you? Then let's break it all the way down, because everybody's not going to be able to spend this much time. You guys spend hours and hours and hours of time with me. 100-day challenge. I did it on purpose. It's end of the world. We got to hurry up. And this is a space that should exist and it doesn't. So I'm doing it. But theoretically, most people, the majority of people who come to know me will never have this experience that you guys are having with me, with this much time that they just get to sit in your energy. You can't do this to enough people to scale your business. Okay. So what do you do instead? You break it down into, when I say digitize, think bytes, like, like a computer, bytes of information, like literal, the smallest, boop, give them that. And tomorrow, boop, give them the next one. Then the next article, bloop, we give them that. And then bloop, and each one is a bloop, bloop, bloop. So number one, they all build on each other. So I'm blooping. So I want to keep blooping with you. I need the next bloop. What's next? I need the next. So now I'm locked in. So I'm subscribed, I'm following, I'm sharing all these, I'm saving them. Like I need them. They're my reference now. But by the fourth or fifth bloop, I know you. I'm locked in with you. Nobody else has broken it down like this for me. Nobody else made it. I understand what's going on. I've been confused my whole life, and now I can see. So now I'm locked in a different way. You see what I'm saying? So I'm blooped, and they're blooping with you. Would that be uses? Oh, question. Okay, I got you, Desta. Hold on. So if you bloop, if you get them blooping with you, after the fourth or fifth bloop, then they're gonna be ready to take an action. So you keep saying, hey, I got this whole thing is together. All the bloops are together in this, you know what I'm saying, this document. So go get it. They're gonna go bloop and get the thing. I want them all. I would like all of this in one course, one document, one guide, you know what I'm saying? Who's not signing up for that? Or if it's like, hey, I would like I done told y'all the bloops. I told you everything, but you're gonna need some support. If you want to get in a community where we bloop together, come on over here. Right? And of course, they're gonna join your school or what. You see what I'm saying? So if you get the blooping right, y'all, I do this. I talk like this all the time, so I don't apologize. Just bloop with me. If you bloop, and they could bloop with you, they gonna want to take another bloop. They want to take another step. They come off that platform. Now they're in your world, and you're going to get paid. Okay, that's how it works. So we got to break it all the way down. Now we got questions, and then we got to go. Here we go. Questions. They come with the questions, y'all. Something is going on in the banking system in April. I mentioned it to you yesterday. I'm working on an episode for WhatsApp, et cetera, et cetera. But like, we gotta just be prepared. So let me answer these questions and get y'all going. My love. All right. Number one, 401k. If USD flames out, which it is, and you have a 401k, would that be useless? Would it be advisable to withdraw before the crash and deal with the penalty later? And then what to do with the cash? Get gold, get XRP, get something ASAP with that cash. Great question. Let us begin. I will go into more depth on these. I will find a session just for these types of questions. Okay, USD is going to flame out, meaning its borrowing power is just gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's just gonna keep eroding. Along with some of the other things that are happening in the economy that I can't answer in a short way, there is going to be a market crash. Okay, like stock market, like think 2008, think 1929, like it's coming. Okay, in some way or form. So yes, you wouldn't want to just kind of be normally exposed in your 401k as if it was 1995, thinking long-term growth. That said, there are new products and new financial or wealth advisors that are coming online these days that can help you So you may not have to just pull it out and get the penalty and then try to run and do something else with it. There may be a way for you to convert it. I don't know the technical terms, but there are advisors that are coming online who specialize in taking traditional, IRA, 401k, whatever kind of assets, and converting it out of, like, if it's cash just sitting there or stocks or whatever, and helping you to do that conversion without as much of a penalty and the tax implications and all that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely not the one to try to advise you on that. But there's a way to do it. There as 2 advisors that I would just investigate, because I don't even know their minimums and all that kind of stuff. So we can talk about that. How do we transfer it over? I'll do a specific teaching just on that. But yes, you want to not just be sitting in traditional stock and or cash. Don't do that. Okay. Yes, the penalty is not as important as what you're gonna lose if you don't make a move. So if you just can't figure it out and you just feel like you want to pull it out, okay, cool. But I'm not giving advice. Now, what do we do with it? Gold, XRP, yes. Okay. Without giving financial advice, without giving a whole course on it. Okay, assets. Is it useful to acquire property here in the US, or should the focus be on property somewhere else as an asset? Asking because concerned about the value of the property, USD for the spiral when it all goes south. Great question. The answer is yes. The answer is, it depends. It depends on where the property is in the US. Some places will be, I'm not going to say fine, but they will be protected and continue to kind of go up the way we think about real estate increasing in value over time. Some places will not. So that's kind of a very specific question that I can't answer within short form. But if your intuition is leading you to look in another country, also do that. But if likewise, if you're like, I think I should buy a compound or something, some land, maybe further out from a major city in the US, do that too. Because it's less about the appreciation and the value of the property at this point. It's more about kind of having some security and places that you control, that you and your family could post up and grow your vegetables and stuff. Okay. Third question, gold. This would seemingly be a good asset class to be in. Is an alternative to USD. Not feasible to keep a bunch of gold bars on you. What do you do instead? There are brokers whose dealers specialize in, they literally physically hold the gold for you and all that kind of stuff. So you got to do a little bit of research on that. So that's the difference between purchasing like gold futures or like, how do you say that? Shares of a gold exchange or even certificates. Like, they're saying they actually physically hold the gold for you. I do have names of some couple that I've researched. I can get those to you. So you have to find a dealer that will physically hold the gold on your behalf. And then some people actually know they have a safe and they have things in the ground and they actually have their gold in there, but that's an expense. Okay. Is there a digital form of gold? Yes, there is. Gold futures, yes, those things exist. And all of that is better than just sitting in USD. What is the proper way to do this? If it is digital, can it be held hostage by the digital control grid? So the digital control grid, as it stands right now, the primary risk where you need to be concerned, I mean, eventually they're going to tokenize everything. And so we just got to keep moving. But right now, the main concern is USD. Okay. If you're sitting in USD, that when they change the regulations on USD and make it all digital, they, traditional transactions, the way we think about them, anything that's inside of the banking system, they will program it and they'll be able to just hit a button, turn it off, and then you're set. Okay. So if you take it out of USD, there's certain wallets. Think Uphold. I mentioned that one yesterday. Rumble is another one. They're new types of wallets where you hold these assets, digital assets that are not locked into the banking system. So the banking system is what we need to first be concerned about, because if it's attached to the banking system and there's a collapse of the banking system, or they put a freeze on the banking system, you won't be able to go to Truist or to Bank of America and get your money out. But if you have a wallet that's not attached to that, even, you have digital assets in there, but it's not attached to the banking system, you can still transact. So that's the easiest way to explain that, to think about it. Because everything is going to be digital, but some things are going to be locked into the old system. And when the system goes down, we have a different problem versus if you have assets outside of that and or outside of the country, but it's happening everywhere. Um, you have different options. Okay, XRP. Where is the preferred place to get this and keep this? Is it Coinbase, for instance, safe? If you end up abroad, all these assets will still be accessible, assuming there's internet. Yes. So we had a class on this in December. You have what you call a hot wallet and a cold wallet and exchanges. So the easiest way is just quickly go create an account, go in an exchange, like a Coinbase or whatever, and buy it. But you want to move that so if the exchange gets hacked, your stuff won't be hacked. So you want to move that. So some people they call it a hot wallet or soft wallet or whatever. This is where they have a software version, like an app, right? Where you have, that's where they have custody of your assets, but it's still attached to an exchange, which is better than just being on the exchange, but it can still be hacked. The one that can't be hacked is a cold wallet. And we talked about this. So we got to go back and do another class on this. But yes, if you have it on a cold wallet, you can access it from anywhere in the world, even abroad, assuming there's internet. I do have an answer for the internet question, but I'm not able to say that in a short, simple way. Travel. If quick exit becomes necessary, and since ICE is at the airport, it's going to be difficult to get on a plane and be out. Would one need to drive to Canada and fly? These are great questions. These are real questions. Drive to Canada and fly from one of the airports if Canada is not the final destination. This is great thinking. I would be prepared to do that. I'm preparing my family to fly private if we need to make a move. You could drive, south. You could go, like, try to get through Mexico or something. You could try to take a boat to an island and try to fly from there. These are actual real concerns that people have. And yeah, I would have a way out. Like, I have a way to get out of where we live right now. That doesn't, we could still fly, but it wouldn't be from like Hartsfield. It's like a private airport. Because this could be a problem one day. I don't know. You want to have a car. I'm concerned about gas is going up on one side and then electric vehicles. Well, what if the grid goes down on the other side? You know what I mean? So I tell people, have you a gas car and an electric car. It's a lot going on. So these are excellent questions. So that's why the Great Escape is something that I will be bringing back again now that the new year's here, and to really have real discussions about a lot of these things. I've done a lot of research. I asked all the experts. I could bring on guests and talk about it if y'all want that kind of format. We can go down the rabbit hole in different scenarios if you want to, but I think that somebody needs to be talking about this because it's absolutely one or more of these scenarios would probably be something we had to consider. So thank you for taking the time to type out all these questions. And I hope that I did a good job to answer them. Also, Desta was giving you some juice earlier, Tracy, about people, if you breathe, they get stressed out, overwhelmed. Wish you could do something about that. Yoga's for you. I like that. That's pretty simple. Thank you. Okay, he said I did a good job answering that. That was a lot. There's so much more. This is why I probably need.
That's good.
Yeah. Right? Absolutely. Probably need to do multiple Substacks, YouTube channels, because I needed to be talking about all this kind of stuff as well. But these are very real questions, and there are answers. And I'm going to go and put this in some kind of format and give you some links as well, Desta. So good questions. Anybody else? It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on, but we're going to be all right, y'all. The more we focus on our business and really get our, our engine going, that generates the cash flow. When you have cash flow, Now you got options. Okay. Got the cash flow, you're stuck. And that's when I say digital control grid, I don't want y'all to be stuck over there in the old way of just getting it how we live it, just whatever, because they can hit a button, turn that off, and it's gonna be bad. All right. So with if all hearts and minds are clear, I like to end on a more upbeat note than that. However, the more we learn, the more we can protect our family, be ahead of it. So we'll do this again tomorrow. Tomorrow's a double header, but I do have something very specific that's going to help you, like basically survey your people. If you already have good notes, this will be easy for you. But even if you don't, I'm going to tell you an idea for how to go and get the exact language, the exact problems that people want to hear about, that you are uniquely positioned to create content about, that's going to jumpstart this engine and start bringing people to your free stuff and your $27 and $97 thing that you're selling and everything else you have. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Until then, y'all know. Oh, I was going to tell you this. I say this all the time to myself, but I never said it to y'all. So I'm saying now, the world won't get no better if we all just let it be. I said the world won't get no better. Change is up to you and me. So be the change. Get off your assets. Get excuses out of your way. And if procrastination is your dragon, you must slay. Okay, I gotta go. We out. Pew!